Samantha Josephson, also known as Sammy, was born in 1998 in the city of Princeton in the state of New Jersey, United States. She was the daughter of Seymour and Marcia Josephson. The couple had, in addition to Samantha, another daughter named Sydney. It is said that the young woman had a normal childhood and adolescence. According to people close to her, she was a cheerful, kind, and polite girl. After finishing high school, Samantha entered the University of South Carolina to study political science. At the university, Samantha made many friends, and it was also there in 2017 that she met Greg Corbishley, a marketing student with whom she started a relationship. She was also a member of the Alpha Gamma Delta fraternity, an all-female fraternity that promotes various social work. Samantha had plans to graduate in 2019 and then attend Drexel University School of Law. She had won a full scholarship to attend Drexel and had also won a partial scholarship to attend Rutgers University. Samantha's goal was to graduate in law to be a professional in the field of international law, but unfortunately, her plans were tragically interrupted. On the night of March 28, 2019, Samantha went to a get-together with friends in Five Points, a district located in downtown Columbia. Five Points is a district very frequented by young people in the region, mainly university students. Samantha was a little sad because she had received bad news about the health of a relative, so her friends thought it might be a good idea for her to go out and have some fun. She and her friends chose the Bird Dog Bar for a get-together. Greg, the young woman's boyfriend, couldn't go but told her to have fun and try to forget her problems for a while. Around 2 a.m., Samantha decided to leave. She first called Greg to let him know she was going home, and then asked for an Uber. While waiting for the Uber, Samantha decided to call Greg again, and they kept talking on the phone until the driver arrived to take the young woman home. At 2:12 a.m., a black Chevrolet Impala pulls up and parks next to Samantha. It is possible to see from the security camera footage that even before the vehicle is parked, the young woman goes towards it and opens the back passenger door. What Samantha didn't know was that in fact that wasn't the Uber she had asked for, and that misunderstanding would cost her life. The black Impala left the scene normally, taking Samantha. After some time, Greg found it strange that Samantha hadn't called or sent a message to him. By the time that had passed, Samantha should be at home and as usual let him know that she had arrived and was safe. He called and texted her but got no response. Concerned, Greg decided to use the app's feature known as Find My Friends. I already talked about this application in a previous video of mine, but to simplify it, it is used to track people are through the cell phone's GPS. Greg and Samantha had this app installed on their phones. That way, they could always check each other's location. Upon tracking his girlfriend's location, Greg became even more concerned. The path she was taking was opposite of her home. Greg then called some of the girl's friends and asked if they were with her or knew about her. They said no, and that the last time they'd seen her she was leaving. Greg explained about Samantha not having contacted him, and also about the young woman going to the opposite way to her house. They said it was not for him to worry, that she had probably already arrived home, and that she should have forgotten her cell phone in the Uber, which would explain her not calling him anymore, and the opposite path that pointed on the cell phone's GPS. Calmer, Greg decided to go to sleep, believing that the next day Samantha would call him, but the young woman never did. The next day, Greg woke up to find that Samantha still hadn't gotten in touch. She worked the morning shift at a restaurant, so Greg thought maybe she'd gotten straight to work. But when calling the place, the other employees informed that Samantha had not gone to work. From that point on, Greg realized the gravity of the situation. On the afternoon of March 29, 2019, Samantha Josephson was reported missing to the authorities. At the same time, the young woman's boyfriend and friends decided to look for her on their own. They called several places she might have been or had been, such as hospitals and police stations. Despite the effort, they didn't get any information that could help them. They then went to the Bird Dog, the bar where Samantha had been with her friends the night before she was last seen. Since Greg had some friends who worked at the bar, he asked to see the security camera footage. Through these images, Greg saw the moment when Samantha was waiting for the Uber and then the time when she got into the black Impala. Greg, along with the young woman's friends, took the footage to the police department in the hope that they could locate the vehicle and thus know what happened to Samantha. When they arrived at the department, Seymour and Marcia Josephson, Samantha's parents, were already there. The two, visibly sad and shaken, broke the news to Greg that Samantha had been found, unfortunately, lifeless. It was around 4 a.m. that a group of hunters found Samantha's body in a wooded area in the city of New Zion, more than 62 miles from where she was last seen. The autopsy revealed that the cause of death was numerous punctures in the body made by a sharp object, possibly a knife. It is said that there were so many puncture wounds that the coroner was unable to come up with an exact number, but he identified at least 120. Samantha also had almost no blood in her body. On average, an adult human has 4 liters of blood, but Samantha had less than 50 milliliters. The crime obviously shocked the region where it took place. Relatives and friends were extremely shaken by what had happened. Now it only remained to know who was responsible and also why. Initially, everyone believed that the Uber driver Samantha had called the night she disappeared had some connection with the crime, but it was soon discovered that he had cancelled the trip, as he went to the place to pick up the young woman and she was no longer there. He also voluntarily provided a sample of his DNA when he testified with the Columbia Police Department. Therefore, the Uber driver ruled out as the prime suspect. For investigators, Samantha mistakenly got into her killer's car, thinking it was her Uber. They believed that as soon as she got in, the driver activated the vehicle's child safety locks, so the doors could only be opened from the outside and Samantha would have no way to escape. The police focused on the main lead they had, which was the description of the vehicle. Several police departments in the region where the crime occurred were notified with the information regarding the black Impala used in Samantha's kidnapping. In the early hours of March 30, 2019, a patrol located a vehicle with the same characteristics as the one used in the crime. The vehicle was driving through the 5 Points neighborhood, the same one Samantha was last seen. Police officers quickly approached, giving the driver a stop order. The driver of the vehicle stopped, and he seemed to be calm with the approach.
License on you? I'm also Craddock, Columbia Police Department K9. No license on you. Why not?
But as soon as he got out of the vehicle, he distanced himself from the officer and started to run.
I pulled your car over because it matches the suspect. Get your hand in your pocket. What are you, crazy? Get over here. Hey, get over here. Go, we're running. Hey, I'm gonna release the dog. I can't. I was just gonna see if he'll stop. Bravo Mike wearing a gray sweatpants, gray sweatshirt. Nunez, keep going. He's gonna be on your left.
Less than 5 minutes after running from the officers, the suspect was captured and arrested. The man was identified as Nathaniel Rowland, aged 24 at the time. In a search of his black Impala, officers found bleach and other cleaning products. There was also blood on the seats and in the trunk, and Samantha's cell phone was also found in the glove compartment. Everything indicated that Nathaniel Rowland was responsible for the crime. At Nathaniel's house, the police also found a lot of cleaning supplies and a double-edged knife that contained Samantha's blood. The young woman's blood was also found in a sock and a bandana of his, and after a preliminary examination, it was found that there was DNA from the victim in his fingernails. With all this evidence, it was clear that Nathaniel was responsible for the crime. But who was Nathaniel Rowland and why did he kill Samantha? Nathaniel was born on April 13, 1995 and lived in New Zion, in Clarendon County, the same area where Samantha's body was found. He attended East Clarendon High School, and according to his basketball coach, Nathaniel was a great kid. In his social media, it appeared that he attended the University of South Carolina, but according to the university administration, he was no longer a student there. In 2018, he was arrested after being accused of allegedly kidnapping and robbing a woman along with an accomplice. On the occasion, they would have approached the woman at a traffic light getting into the car. Then they forced her to drive to an ATM to withdraw money. Not satisfied, they would still have forced the woman to drive to her house where they stole several objects. In a later statement, this woman said that the criminals were extremely violent with her, even hitting her several times. Hours after this crime, Nathaniel was arrested after having sold the stolen objects in a pawn shop. He was convicted of illegally obtaining merchandise, but the police were unable to link him to the kidnapping and robbery of the woman, as it appears she didn't recognize him as one of the criminals. That way, he was free to commit the crime I'm narrating in this video. Now in police custody, everyone would finally know why Nathaniel killed Samantha. And the truth is that in fact there was no reason. He simply took the young woman's life for what he wanted. She got into his car by mistake, and he saw an opportunity to quench his desire. Later, Byron Gibson, the prosecutor in charge of the case, would say that it was an absolutely random act of violence. On July 20, 2021, more than 2 years after the crime, Nathaniel Rowland's trial began. Prosecutors called 31 witnesses, including the hunter who found Samantha's body, the cell phone store owner Nathaniel tried to sell the victim's cell phone to, the accused's ex-girlfriend, several investigators, and other experts. Defense lawyers didn't call witnesses, and the accused didn't testify either. The first witness heard was the hunter who found the body. He said that as soon as he realized what it was, he immediately called a Department of Natural Resources agent named Henley Morris who lived nearby. This agent, upon arriving at the scene, contacted the Clarendon County Sheriff's Department. Both the hunter and the agent said they didn't touch the body to preserve the crime scene. The first police officer who arrived at the crime scene was Henley Morris. He said he informed the other counties, as it was a case that involved other regions. He also said that when he saw the body, he already thought it was Samantha. The police officers who participated in the approach and capture of Nathaniel also testified, giving details of how it all happened. In addition to his statements, the recording made by his body cams on the day of the approach was shown. Maria Howard, the accused's ex-girlfriend, was a valuable witness during the trial. At the time of the events, she was still dating the accused, and according to her, on the night of the crime, Nathaniel didn't return home, and when he finally did, she asked him where his work visor was, and the accused would have said that it had blood on. Maria then asked why his visor was bloody, and he replied, "Mind your own business." The next day, Nathaniel drove her to work, and on the way he stopped for gas. At the gas station, Maria said she noticed blood smeared on the car. She said she asked the accused where the blood was from, and he again said, "Mind your own business." When she got back from work that day, she saw Nathaniel cleaning the Impala with bleach, and once again he looked at her and said, "Mind your own business." Maria also said that she saw the accused cleaning the knife that was used in the crime, and also saw a rose gold cell phone in the glove compartment. This cell phone belonged to the victim. She also stated that at first, she didn't tell the police about the blood in the car because she was scared, but that after Nathaniel's arrest, she told the police everything she knew. Still, during the trial, the prosecution showed footage of security cameras where it's possible to see Nathaniel running through the neighborhood of 5 Points minutes before kidnapping Samantha. In these images, it was possible to see that he passed by the place where the young woman was a few times, as if he was already watching her. In a part of the recording, Samantha goes to another car that she believed to be her Uber, and when she gets close, the vehicle leaves the place. You can see that at this very moment, Nathaniel's car is right behind. He had already realized that the young woman was alone and appeared to be looking for a ride. In the following images, the accused parks his black Impala near the young woman who enters the vehicle, believing it to be her Uber. I didn't find information if the Uber driver that Samantha talked to also had a black Impala, or if she didn't pay attention to this when asking for the ride, since when you request an Uber, you can see the brand and model of the vehicle that will pick you up. Investigators in the case said during the trial that it's likely that Samantha realized she got into the wrong vehicle shortly afterwards, but unfortunately it was too late and Nathaniel had already locked the door so she couldn't escape. Still, according to investigators, Samantha was killed inside the vehicle and then transported to the place where she was found. A few hours after the crime, Nathaniel was caught by cameras at an ATM trying to withdraw money with the victim's cards. However, he failed in all attempts and left the place. The defense of the accused said that he was innocent. They argued that no DNA of Nathaniel was found in Samantha's body, even after several evidence were collected at the crime scene. They further argued that there was DNA from another person on the victim's body. The accused parents also gave statements during the trial. Henry Rowland, Nathaniel's father, said he doesn't know what happened, but that in his heart, he knows his son didn't commit the crime. Nathaniel Rowland's mother, Loretta Rowland, said that as a mother, she knew her son and knew he had not committed the crime. The trial lasted 7 days, and on July 27, 2021, the sentence came out. Nathaniel Rowland was sentenced to life in prison for the kidnapping and death of Samantha Josephson. Shortly after the conviction, State Judge Clifton Newman said, "If anyone comes to ask me for clemency, know that it's not part of my DNA." There are 1,000 tracks and each one led to you. All the evidence, every particle of evidence, not simply a reasonable doubt, but to the highest standard the law requires, all point to your guilt. The judge also said that Nathaniel has no heart and that the case was the most serious he had seen in court. Upon hearing the sentence, Samantha's very emotional parents began to cry. Together, they created a foundation called What's My Name, which aims to educate people about ride-sharing safety, as well as supporting charitable foundations and awarding scholarships to universities. Samantha's boyfriend, Greg Corbishley, said that after losing the great love of his life, he made a decision. Greg intends to become a criminal prosecution attorney, to make a difference and get justice for victims of opportunistic criminals. Samantha was buried at Parentville Jewish Cemetery in Parentville, New Jersey. The young woman's parents and boyfriend, painful as it was, attended her graduation ceremony. At the event that took place in May 2019, Samantha was honored by the president of the University of South Carolina, who gave a speech talking a little bit about the young woman. An empty chair covered with a prom dress marked where Samantha should be sitting. The young woman received a posthumous degree in political science, a course she was taking at the university. Her college degree and belongings were handed over to her mother. Alright folks, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching until the end, best wishes, and I see you next time.